Alright, Schlockmeister fans, one of my all-time favorites. It's called Super Fuzz. Let's check it out.
He's been sentenced to death for the murder of his friend, colleague, and superior officer, Sergeant Willie Dunlop.
Officer Dave Speed has been sentenced to death.
Has a man survived 3 attempts to execute him?
Could you at least see that he received these flowers? Perhaps they could arrange them in front of the electric chair so he could see them. I want David to be thinking of me when they throw the switch.
So what happened to Dave?
When all this first began, I never dreamt it would end this way.
Ernest Borgnine is his sergeant.
This is Sergeant Dunlop calling Officer Speed. Officer Speed, do you read me? Over.
Dave is going to deliver a ticket. As he's trying to leave this place in the Everglades, a rocket explodes above him, knocks him to the ground, flashing. Everybody thinks he's dead, but he's not. But it looks like he has some superpowers. And when he sees a guy illegally double park a truck, rather than give him a ticket, teaches him a lesson. When they respond to a robbery, unhurt, Dave speeds up the stairs to stop the robbery. He could see through this truck to see an illegal gambling operation going on.
Hey, listen, kid. Next time you get a tip-off like this, tell me before you act, will you?
It wasn't a tip-off. Look, the side of the truck.
Look, I don't want to know. I'm just...
Why worry?
This is local mafia kingpin Torpedo.
What you do is legal and above the board. You got the richest fishing business in the Gulf.
Yeah.
He's running a counterfeit bills ring. He thought he saw some phony money in there, but then when they look, they find nothing. He was walking on the water to impress some kids, and then his girlfriend Evelyn comes by, and he had told her that he can't swim. He decides to reveal his powers to the chief. But something goes wrong.
We took other x-rays after we put him in his cast. They should be ready soon. But I'm afraid that, well, even if the bone's set correctly, the internal damage is too extensive to encourage optimism. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. Look, we took another set of x-rays of Officer Speed. The bones are completely healed. Dave? Dave?
So he's going to look for this guy Silvius, who was the only guy who actually saw him fall both times.
Anybody home?
He thinks Silvius might know why his powers come and go. He finds 3 of Torpedo's thugs.
And where is the Silvius?
Beats me. But even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you 3 jerks.
He ends up getting into a fight with all 3 of them and throws them in dog cages.
Now be good boys.
Aging starlet Rosie LaBouche is in town.
Isn't she beautiful? Oh.
What they don't know is that she's teaming up with Torpedo.
But I always like to do a lot of stunts, you see.
Borgnine is obsessed with Rosie, so he ends up giving her a ride.
Then I gotta kind of, you know.
Okay, that's enough. Let's double check.
They're counterfeit dummy. You know, it's no wonder people take them. We're not even police sergeants can tell the difference.
Like yours, it sometimes only takes one dumb little thing to destroy your concentration.
He figures out finally what's causing his powers to come and go. It's the color red.
Okay. Evelyn, did you bring what I asked you to bring?
Sure did.
Get the hell down from up there. Calm down.
He goes to a club where Torpedo is. He's working undercover now. Counterfeiters. This is one of Torpedo's men.
You're going to dance like Fred Astaire. Like Fred Astaire.
We've gone to see Rosie LaBouche in her act.
These superpowers. He can do anything he wants. And make other people do the same.
he gets Torpedo to spill everything about his
Oh,
counterfeiting.
flat-footed smart ass. Ain't fooling me. I know you're pretending to be a corrupt cop.
Torpedo revealed that he's got a boat that's laundering all his money and printing up the phony bills and everything.
We got enough evidence here to put Torpedo away for life. I'm telling you. Now go back to town and get some help. I'll be waiting for you.
They thought it was abandoned, but they were wrong. So they knocked him out, and they're going to sink the boat.
Hello. We're sinking the Barracuda.
Chief, told you everything I know. Last night at the Macombo, I overheard that man trying to extort protection money from Mr. Torpedo. He's a corrupt cop, and Sergeant Dunlop found out. That's why he had to kill him.
Back to present time, and Rosie LaBouche has some red flowers in front of him.
Where did the flowers come from?
Well, they're from Rosie LaBouche, the film star.
He has the flowers taken away, and of course, you can't kill him. So he found the Sarge underwater with the Barracuda, and there's some gum he got from...
Please get me down.
That's the bubblegum ball. Torpedo has kidnapped Evelyn, too.
You're gonna be our passport out of here, baby.
So they're making their getaway.
Here, Sarge, I'll stop them. Stay here. Where you going?
Dave brings the plane down, and the bad guys are arrested.
Am I glad to see you guys? Am I glad? Where are you going?
But what about the Sarge? They thought they were dead, but nope, they went all the way and popped up in China.
That's right. We're fine. Yeah, we're okay.
The movie ends with Dave and Evelyn getting married, and Evelyn's changed her hair color. Alright, let's talk about the movie Super Fuzz. This is a movie I actually saw in the theater when I was a little kid, and I loved it. I remember talking to Troy Rozacek the next day in art class about it, because he's seen it that weekend as well. So, anyway, Super Fuzz, it stars Terrence Hill and Ernest Borgnine. Terrence Hill is a cop, Officer Dave Speed. He goes out to deliver this ticket in the middle of a swamp somewhere in Florida. Unbeknownst to him, the Navy or the government is doing some sort of nuclear test in the skies above them, and everybody's supposed to be cleared out of there, but nobody told Officer Dave Speed. So this rocket explodes up in up in the sky, and he gets knocked to the ground. Some sort of radiation. He sees this light color red. Everybody thinks he's dead, but then he shows up and he's fine. Turns out he's acquired some superpowers from this. He can do just about anything. He can float. He can make things move. He just has some powers. So as a cop, that really is helpful to him. However, he discovers that his powers seem to come and go, and he can't figure out why. Eventually, he figures out with the help of this guy, Sylvius, that it's the color red. The color that he saw when this rocket blew up was a big red flash. Now, every time he sees the color red, he loses his superpowers. So anyway, as a cop, it helps having superpowers. He can catch bullets in his teeth, and he can see through walls and see through everything. And he finds out there's this guy named Torpedo, played by Mark Lawrence, who is a local mafia type leader. He has this counterfeit ring going, and they're laundering money, and they're using fish. They're hiding phony bills in these fish, and that's how they're getting them passed around and such. I don't know, kind of a strange thing. But anyway, Torpedo's involved with this actress named Rosie LaBouche, who's in town also, and Ernest Borgnine, Dave Speed's partner, has a fascination with Rosie LaBouche, but it turns out she's a bad guy, or a bad girl in this case. And anyway, they find out about this operation, and the Sarge, Ernest Borgnine, is knocked unconscious on this boat. Dave Speed has to rescue him, but he gets arrested for Speed's murder. Rosie LaBouche kind of framed him, and it sounds like he's sentenced to death, but he keeps escaping all of these ways to they try to firing squad, that doesn't work. Electric chair ultimately doesn't work. We see that. They tried to hang him, that didn't work either. So he escapes. He manages to rescue the Sarge, who's been underwater for several weeks apparently. I don't know, but he's fine. And ultimately Dave ends up stopping the bad guys, making their plane land, and he and Ernest Borgnine's niece Evelyn get married at the end, and she has changed her hair from blonde on to red. So that's how our movie ends. Anyway, I love this movie. I really do. I've watched this movie so many times. This is one of the first movies in my life that I actually declared to be my favorite movie. I remember taping it for the first time on a Sony tape and watching it when I got home from school. I loved it. I love the opening theme song, which is fantastic. I think it's by a group called The Oceans. I think it's called Super Snooper, which is just a catchy tune. And I actually have it on my Apple Music because I love it. So anyway, there's a couple DVDs out there, including this one. There's also another one that I have. But anybody who watches back on HBO and stuff back in the 80s and have seen the DVDs, you'll know that there's a couple things that are a little different, like the dialogue from one of the characters, this guy named Paradise, is one of the mafia bad guys. Completely different voiceover actor doing it, and just found it uncomfortable. I'd seen this movie so many times that when I watched this one, it's a little jarring. Plus, there's a couple added bits of dialogue that are inserted here that weren't in the other one. There's a thing where he's talking to a fish briefly, and that part was in here, but there was no sound coming out. It was kind of weird. And then there's this, I don't know, there's just a couple little things that if you've seen this movie a million times like I have, you notice immediately. But I think I might actually take I have a pre-recorded VHS of this. I might take that tape and burn a DVD of it and just slip it in here so I have that version as well. So anyway, it is a great movie. I'll leave a link down below, or if you want to buy this film, it's a good movie. I love it. Let me know what you think about Super Fuzz. Watch it. Bye.